I'm Michael with Squeeze Marketing, and today we're going to teach you how to build your own Google Ads campaign for a local area service business. Now, this will work for any business that services a client at their location, and that works for landscaping, plumber, electrician, hardscapes, gutter cleaners, painters, whatever that is. If you're a local business that serves your client B2B or B2C at their location, this is the type of Google Ads campaign that will work for you. Now, in this case, we're going to use a local landscaping business as the example, but again, the difference is how you write the ads and the keywords you choose, and this account structure and setup will work for any of those types of businesses. So let's get into it. So we're here. If you go to ads.google.com in your browser, you'll likely see this window right here. And then what you need to do is just sign in to your Google account. That's the same account that you use for Gmail. And ideally, this would be a business account, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. The account doesn't have to have the same URL as your business website to run ads for that website. You need really any Google account. And so once you're signed into that Google account at ads.google.com, you see I've got an extra account here that we're going to be using to build this. An agency like ours manages all of our client accounts in one large agency account where all of the client accounts are listed out. But in this case, that's not going to be likely for someone just building their first Google Ads campaign from scratch for their own business, whatever that is. So we're going to take you through the process as if we just started this brand new Google account, brand new Google Ads account. And so once we're here, we're going to click the new Google Ads account button. All right, so this is the first thing that you see. Now, this is important because the way we're going to take you through this is we're going to leverage all of the advantages that the full Google Ads platform has, and we're not going to be running one of these easy or express accounts. That will really just end up in you doing less to set up. The setup's a little bit easier, but you end up spending more money on less relevant keywords, and you won't get the most out of your Google Ads campaign. So when we switch here, you see this link at the bottom where you can switch to expert mode. That's what you want to click on this first screen, is switch to expert mode. Don't be concerned about that. This mode will let you actually implement these techniques so that you're spending as little as possible to get high quality leads from your Google Ads. So as soon as we're here, we're going to first start with a website traffic campaign. This is a simple search campaign meant to bring people to your website, ideally where your website is a good representation of your business, has calls to action, and has methods for people to get in touch with you so that they can hire you to perform whatever service that you do at their location. So we'll start by picking a website traffic campaign. And then, like I said, we're going to be doing a search campaign. Search campaigns are what most people associate with Google Ads, where you have that ad right at the top of search results. So here we are with the search campaign. We are going to use a business. This is a landscaping business here in Charleston, South Carolina, where we are. We're going to use their website. So you're going to put your website URL right into that spot right there. And then we'll hit continue. Now the campaign name, we're going to name this campaign Residential Landscaping. And so that's our campaign name here. And then we are performing this campaign only on Google searches. Generally, if we're going to build a display network campaign that puts those display ads out on other websites other than just Google searches, we'll be doing graphic design so that we can have the best looking display ad as possible. If you leave this display network checked, what that does is it takes a version of your text ad and puts it out there as a display ad in those spots, but really they just see the text ad. It's not very engaging, and we find that the money's not best spent by leaving display network checked there. Here's where you're going to enter your location. So for us, I'm going to be using a general location, the DMA region. It's a region around Charleston, South Carolina, where we're located. So we'll click enter another location and start typing. As we type in Charleston, where we are, you see you have quite a few options that come up. We find that targeting the DMA region is a broad regional targeted area around the city, whereas targeting the city really only comes within the city limits. Now, there are quite a few different advanced ways to do your targeting here. You can do this down to 1 mile radiuses. You can do zip codes. There's a lot of options. We'll get into all of those options so that you can really nail down your geographic targeting here in a little bit. But we're going to start with the Charleston Nielsen DMA region as our location target. And once you get into the account after these first screens, you'll be able to see all of those targeted locations on a map to really make sure you're targeting people only where you provide the service. Now, for languages, this is important for all of our campaigns because in South Carolina, here where we are, Spanish is a prevalent language. We are going to also click Spanish. Now, this doesn't change the language of your ads, but if someone has their browser set to Spanish and you don't have this language checked, your ad may not show for them. Now, your ad's going to show in English just as it would, but if you have a significant portion of the population around where you live speaking a second language, you have to know that they may have their browser set to that language, and you want to make sure that you're showing them your ads as well. So we go with English and Spanish where we are. We don't cover the audiences section for the local campaign, and we'll start our budget with $5, and this is per day. That's important to keep in mind. So right now, as it stands, this campaign would spend about $150 in the average month. Now, our bidding, we're going to focus on clicks. We're not going to set a maximum cost per click bid limit. There are some reasons why we might set that, but in this case, we're keeping this very simple. And this, with these settings, Google will bid for you on those ad placements, and they will naturally get that bid down to as low as possible. That still gets you the placement on the search, which is exactly what you want for this kind of campaign. And then all of these extensions we'll be adding into our ads later. These extensions are very important because they're what adds those additional links under the ad, some call out text, your phone number if that's what you'd like on your ads. That can cause spam sometimes, but for many industries it's very beneficial to have the phone number right there on the ad. They don't even need to go to your website to call you. All of those are in the extension section, and we'll be adding those in after we start building ads. So we'll save and continue. Now we're getting into the ad groups, and this is where you do your keyword targeting. We're going to use a different function on Google Ads to do our keyword targeting. We're not going to do this in the new campaign setup, but we'll go ahead and name our first ad group. Residential landscaping. Now our ad group type is going to be a standard starting out, and then we're going to delete all of these keywords that are in there because we're going to be adding them through the keyword planner tool here in a little bit. Now we'll save and continue. Then these are our first ads. So we'll go ahead and build our first ad here on this screen. Now this is a dynamic ad. A dynamic ad is going to have multiple different headlines to pick from and multiple descriptions. And the way this works is Google will understand what the user is searching, the terms that they use, some of the things that they've looked at, the data that Google has, and they'll present the best combination of headlines and descriptions that they think will incentivize the user to click. We are going to switch the mode of this ad to the classic ad so that we can build a traditional Google ad and control every line that is in that ad. So we'll hit cancel here on this dynamic ad. These are responsive search ads here. And we'll hit save and continue, and we'll build the ad from a different menu screen here as we go. Now, once you get to this confirm payment info, you need to put in your payment information in order to be able to start these campaigns. This is the screen where you'll put that in. So I'm going to go ahead and put our payment information in and skip ahead. All right, now once you've put your payment information in, you'll see this screen. Congrats, you're all done. You want to click this big blue button to explore your campaign, and this will bring you to the campaigns screen. Now, if we want to go, there's an option to switch the view. This is the view that I prefer because you have all of these menus here on the left, and this is how I navigate through the campaign. So if you click that switch view, you'll get to this view here, and then we're going to go straight to the campaigns tab where you'll see the campaign that you built. Now, the first thing that we still have to do here is check on our locations. we've got a couple other things as well. We need to build the ads themselves, and we need to add in our target keywords. Essentially, what a Google Ads campaign is it is looking for the searches that you're targeting so that it can serve an ad within the geographic area that you dictate. So those are the settings that we need to do. So we'll start with targeting our keywords. Now, you saw the option to just enter keywords directly in that setup screen, and we skipped that. The reason why we skipped that is so that we could go up here to Tools and Settings, go to the Planning menu, and then go here to the Keyword Planner. This allows us to choose keywords a bit more intelligently so that we can pick the best ones, understand what the costs are going to be, and do that a little bit more intelligently. We're also going to be choosing the targeting type. So if we click to discover new keywords there, you'll see this comes up, and we're just going to type what we believe are the best keywords for this business. Intuitive answers here. So we're working with a local residential landscaper. And I'll type in residential landscaping and hit enter. Type in the next keyword, lawn mowing. Lawn care service. And local landscaping company. So these 4 keywords should get the job done. We'll also use the domain as a filter. That'll pull additional keywords from the domain and have our results be a little bit more tailored to the website we're going to be advertising. So at this point, we hit the blue Get Results button. And what we see here are all of the results for, the recommended Google searches here. So we're looking at this based on the United States as a keyword planning tool. What I'm also going to do is click the pencil next to the United States, and we're going to set that to our local area. So we get a good idea of what these keyword search volumes and costs will be local to us. So we'll target that same Nielsen DMA region. And you see it with the map here. This is what that DMA region covers for the area that we're in. And that will update these search volumes and expected costs. All right, so now that that's all updated, what we see are the average monthly searches over here, and then the top of page bid for the low range and top of page bid for the high range. Don't let these costs scare you too much. What we typically find is by setting up the campaigns this way, we typically get an average cost per click that's actually a little bit under the top of page bid on the low range. So we look at the low range as our predictive costs. And so what we're going to do is go through and start checking the blocks here for keywords that make the most sense for what our client in this case, or what your business actually does, right? So if you're a local landscaping company, but you don't do hardscapes, you obviously don't want to be targeting the keywords associated with those hardscapes. So lawn care near me, lawn care. These near me keywords are very, very common search terms on Google. And so you would like to You need to pick those near me services, especially if you're one of those local service businesses. In this case, mow the lawn as a search term. That may be someone searching for YouTube videos around that subject, information, tips, and tricks who are going to perform the service for, just do the work themselves. That may not be the most applicable keyword, so we're skipping that one. Lawn mowing service, lawn care service is near me, and I'm going to go down and check the rest of these that are best applicable for this case. All right, now I've gone through and selected a decent selection of keywords. Typically what we will do to start out is select 50 to 150 keywords. You see we've got 61 selected here. Typically when setting this up, we'll start with around 50 to 150 keywords, and that way that's a good representation of keywords that could be applied for this service. Some industries require more and have quite a few more options. Some are much more specific and niche and require less. Now, the way we add these into the campaign is up here in this blue bar. We're going to click the drop down and select existing campaign, and then choose our residential landscaping campaign and our residential landscaping ad group. Now this match type, there's a lot of personal preference and technique that goes into which match type you choose. What we've found, the simplest solution for a local business building their own ads is to stick with phrase match. Now, the quick explanation of what the difference is broad match will show your ad on any search that matches these keywords or almost anything like them, right? So if you choose broad match for this and someone is searching for lawn mowing videos, your ad will still show if you're targeting lawn mowing, if you're targeting some of those similar terms. We want phrase match because phrase match gets a little bit more specific, requires they type in these words that are in your keywords in some order in the phrase that they're searching, and that those words be present. So with phrase match, what we found is that gets us the closest to the mark for users that actually have intent to employ someone for these services. Phrase match is what we use as a starting point for all of these campaigns. It's simple, straightforward, and gets the job done for what we want. Exact match requires that they search exactly those words in that order in the search bar, and that's a little bit too specific and limits your distribution. And then from there, we hit the Add Keywords button. Now all of these keywords have been added to the campaign, so you can click the X button on your keyword planner and then the back arrow to bring you back to your campaign's screen. So now if we go into ad groups here on the left menu and click our residential landscaping ad group, you will see all of your keywords in phrase match, which is what those quotation marks on the outside of the keywords indicate, in the ad group. So next, we'll check on locations. So to see your locations from this section here, what you'll do is you'll go back to your campaigns, the link to the campaigns up at the top there. You'll select this campaign, and then right down here, you'll see the locations menu option. So when we're at locations for this campaign, if we want to edit those locations, we'll click this blue pencil screen here. We'll select the campaign that we want to edit locations for, and it brings us to this menu. Now, this is the easiest menu to edit your locations. You see the map, it updates in real time. And so if I was to start, let's say I take off the Nielsen DMA region here with that little X button by the location. And now if I wanted to enter zip codes, I can start entering zip codes. And we'll target specific areas of the city. As you can see, as we enter these zip codes, it updates the map in real time so that we can target different areas of our city, specific zip codes. You really want to nail this location targeting. You don't want any coverage outside your service area, and you want good coverage within your service area. We can even use a radius. So if we go up here to the top and click the radius button, we'll lower that down to 2 miles. And then from here, we can click pin mode, and we can actually select anywhere on the map where we want to drop a pin and set a 2-mile radius. We click the target button, and that's added in. Additionally, you can pick an address or a street intersection and put the radius around that just by typing it in. So we'll pick a street here in our city. The central point on that street is there, and they'll add that radius for you. So there's multiple different options for adding radiuses, adding zip codes, adding regions, adding entire cities. You can play around with this and find the way to add those locations in the way that best gets your service area completely covered. So now that we've played with that a bit, what we'll do is go back to the Charleston Nielsen DMA region. So actually this is set on radius still. So we'll go here, put it back to location, type in our city, and then we have options here. So what I'll show you is the difference between the Nielsen DMA region and just targeting the city. So if we target the city, you see that's an awkward set of city limits associated where we live. Not every city is going to be like that, but many will. And this generally doesn't represent a typical business service area. So targeting the city can be hit or miss on whether it's the best method for you. In this case, we're going to target the entire region with this Nielsen DMA region and get the entire area around our city, that full surrounding area. And this represents about an hour and 10 minutes of driving time from the central point. That's just what we're going to go with here. And then you hit the blue save button once you've really nailed those locations for where you want to show ads, where the people are living that you want to show those ads to. Now we're going to go in and actually build the ads. So whenever I'm resetting myself in these menus, I like to go back to the campaigns menu, see the campaign that we're working on. We'll click that campaign, and then we'll go over here to ads and extensions. It'll bring us right to the ads screen. We can hit the blue plus button here or here. And we're going to create that doesn't give us the option for a text ad initially. Google really wants you creating these responsive search ads. And we include responsive search ads in all of our campaigns, but it's important to show you how to create a plain text ad. So you have to click the responsive search ads. That's the option there. And then right here, you see a menu link, an option to switch back to text ads, which will do that. It's important to know how to create a basic text ad before you start getting into more complicated methods with responsive search ads. So again, you want your final URL. This is where the Google ad will take the user. For most local service businesses, that's going to be their homepage, but that could vary depending on your priorities. All right, that's there. And now for your headlines, the best techniques for these headlines are you want to match the headline to what the searcher is likely searching for. So in this case, they're going to be searching for local landscaping companies because that's what we're building this campaign for. So we're going to build this here so that they see exactly what they're looking for as the first headline. Typically, we'll put the business brand in one of these headlines as well. And you've got some text limits for 30 characters on what you can place in these headlines. And then you can kind of pick your call to action or the kind of text that makes your business look attractive to someone who may be searching. So we'll choose affordable local landscaping here. And then from here, the descriptions, the easiest way to populate these descriptions is really just to pull some text off of your website, and that's a great place to get ideas. That's typically where we start with client accounts, and then we try to get creative and describe the business in the most advantageous way possible. So I'll do that here. We're going to pull some text over that we've got prepared. All right, so here we have some basic text that we're going to pull over for this ad. We're going to paste this in here. Move some of this around. All right, there we go. So we've got two sentences that give an idea of where the business service is, what they specialize in, and this will work for our text ad. So that's basically it for creating that first text ad. And ideally, we want to create 3 or 4 of these at least so that the same people aren't seeing the same ad over and over again. And we want to test different ads, see which headlines, which descriptions work best and drive the most conversions, the most clicks through to the website. So we'll save this ad here. All right. Now you want to go back in and play around with the responsive search ads as well as creating more text ads. And you'll see this is pending and under review. Typically that will come out of review and get approved within an hour or 2, if not much shorter. So at this point we have an account with payment information, a campaign built, location and keyword targeting, and our ad is built. So you can build out more ads. We can get into display campaigns in a later video. But at this point, the campaign is ready to go. I'm going to pause the campaign right here. Typically, once I have the campaign built, I'll pause it at the campaign level and wait until it's time to turn it on, make sure that all of the adjustments are made, that all the location targeting is right, make sure all of those ads get approved first while this campaign is paused. And then at any point, you can turn on your campaign basically like a light switch by just unpausing the campaign, going from pause to enable here on this screen. So that's it. That's all it takes to set up your initial search campaign. There are many different areas we can get into with audiences, demographics to limit further who that campaign is shown to. You know, if there's an industry that has an audience that's in a typical age range, they cater to a typical age range, this may be advantageous in those cases. And we'll get into those methods in later videos. But that's it for creating a local service business Google search ads campaign that is pretty straightforward and will get your business out there showing ads on Google searches locally to you and hopefully help you drive some more phone calls, inquiry forms, conversions, and gain you more clients. Thanks for watching.